So today we're going to be doing some steps. Now, on this job right here, we have a lot going on. We have a deck we're going to be building in the back. We also have a small deck that we're going to be doing a repair on, and we're going to be building a tiki bar. So I know you guys are going to want to see that, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get the notifications when we put those videos out. But for today, we're going to be tackling these steps right here. Now, let's take a look and see what all is going on in here and see how they did it and how we're going to do it our way. We might do it a little bit different. As you can see, this very top step is flush with the top of the deck. That just brings it on out. I've never done that before. I've always made the first step be the one that steps down. And that's the way we're going to do it today. I'm guessing that maybe they felt like they didn't have anything to attach to down here, but that's okay because I brought another 2x8 and we're going to make sure that we attach our things down here, and our first step should start somewhere down right here. But the first thing is to get these things tore apart. That way we have a fresh slate. So let's not waste any time. We dive right in. Now on this next step, it got a little bit heated. I got a little bit frustrated, and I think things got a little bit personal. I don't know who put these former squash blocks on, but they used 16 penny nails and they drove them deep as they could. I had to pull out multiple pry bars and cat paws just to try to get this thing off. Believe me, it was a fight, and I had to work real hard. Once I got some of the nails loose, it was a little bit easier, but trust me, I still had to battle this thing. When I finally got it off, it was such a relief and super satisfying. Only problem is, there was a couple more just like it.
Bees in this stringer.
They call it bees in the trap. Bees in the trap. Alright, so these deck boards are an inch thick, but it's really curled up on, at least on this side it is, but on that side it's a little bit flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with the top of the band here and then add an inch. And that should be good on this laser. So it looks like we're at 28.5. I really just need to bring it up a little bit. Let's try it like this. Boom, 28.5. Now my 28.5 was just a starting point, but where the steps land out towards the front, about 30 inches out, it was a little bit different, and it wasn't the same all the way across. I took measurements from end to end against the house, and I also took measurements from end to end out front using my laser, and I came up with 4 different numbers, but they all fell pretty close to 28.5, so I went with 28.5. I'm starting out here so I can get as much out of it as I can, basically. This right here will go back down here where the last riser is, but I draw this for a straight edge, that way I can just bring it back. But you'll bring this point to this point on the next one. Well guys, here's an opportunity to show you that we all are human and we all make mistakes. You guys remember how I told you that 28.5 was to the top of the band? Well, I did that because the band was straight, but I forgot to add back the thickness of the deck board, which is 1 inch. So my actual total height ended up being 29.5 with a rise of 7 3/8 for my steps. And that's that. So when we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, I didn't figure that out until after I cut this stringer here. I went ahead and kept the video in because this is all the video I have of me actually cutting the steps, and I wanted you to see that process. However, once I realized my mistake, it was just a matter of moving the stair nuts over to 7 3/8 and redrawing the stringer and recutting it. Once I had it, it was perfect, and I use it for a pattern for the rest of them. Alright, you guys, I want to take a second to talk you through what's going on here and what needs to happen now. So this is a stringer, and it's going to go up there. So it's not going to be flush with that. It's actually going to drop. That over there is going to become my riser. So I'll be putting a riser in front of here. I'll be putting a riser in front of here and a riser in front of here. And so when I put that riser in front of this one right here, it's going to make this run 1 inch longer. Does that make sense? So when I put it back over here, it takes it away, but it adds on to the next one. The reason I'm telling you that is because I'm not going to be putting one back here. So what we need to do is whatever the thickness of our riser is, we have to take that off the back side right here. And then once we put our riser in front, that will bring back the length that we just took off, which will be 1 inch. That makes sense? And then of course we'll just be adding it on. All right, that's what I'm gonna do next. Okay guys, so here's some more stair theory. Okay, so like I said, when we're adding on the riser and then having to take it off from the back, I will be putting a tread right here, right? I'll be putting one here and here and here, but this is the ground, so I won't be putting one here, which would have came all the way up to here. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to take that away. So we always take 1.5 inches away from the bottom. And that's not always 1.5 inches, it's just the thickness of the material used. If you're using 1 inch treads, you'll be taking away at 1 inch at the bottom. Does that make sense? All right. Okay team, so just to summarize what we're doing on this set of steps, my run is 10 inches, which is pretty common, and my rise is 7 3/8, and that's a very comfortable step. I have a total of 4 steps, but the ground or the top step ends up being the last step. And the way I got those numbers is taking my total height of 29.5 and dividing it by 4 steps to get 7 3/8. Alright you guys, so as you can see, we have all 5 of the stringers cut. Kelly's been installing them while I cut them. She's over here leveling them, as you can see right now. She's driving a screw through the front right there, and then we're able to put 2 or even maybe 4 on the back side underneath, because I left the tails a little long, as you can see. See what I'm talking about. Boom, go check that out. So, yeah, those things are going nowhere. They could be fastened to a post out here. So that's what I'm going to do next, is start getting these things ready for post. Alright, moving on. So to make sure that all 5 of these strings are level, front to back and side to side, I went ahead and measured from outside to outside and cut the riser down front for these set of steps. Now I'm able to maneuver the stringers up and down and bring them to the riser and then screw them through the face. By doing this, I can set my level up on top and adjust it as needed. Then when I stick the post in the ground, I could screw it in as it is level and they will all be identical. Speaking of post, it was time to go ahead and start digging and getting ready to put gravel in the bottom. Something just didn't feel right about setting the post straight on the ground, so I figured gravel would give me something solid. What is up, DIY fam? It is Monday morning and we are back out on the job in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. So we started this job the other day on Friday. It rained on us a little bit throughout the day, so we didn't get a whole lot done. We got good progress, and today I think we should be able to wrap it up. So let's go take a look at what we got done and what we're about to do for the rest of the day to get these things knocked out. All right, here we go. All right, so taking a look, you can see Now, you guys saw how I fastened these from underneath. As I was thinking about it, I bought this 2x8 because I was going to try to make it flush with that band that's back there and nail it to that. And I decided not to do that. But after I was at home laying in bed, I thought, man, I got that thing out there. I might just go ahead and cut some pressure blocks, screw it to the top of that, those stringers right there, which is at the bottom of that band, and then put a couple screws to the side just to make sure that thing is really up there good and hanging on tight. So right now we got these holes dug. They're not as deep as 2 foot. You don't really need that because I think the thing says you need to go like 3 times as deep as what's sticking out. We're only sticking out like 6 inches, so I believe 1.5 feet is plenty good. We're going to throw some gravel in there, take these little posts that I put down in there and put those in and attach them, and then we should be able to have this thing knocked out in no time. All right, guys, that's the plan. Let's hit it. All right, team, so while Kelly's pressure blocks in, I'm gonna go ahead and dump the gravel in the hole and start putting concrete in. Here we go.
They're called pressure blocks?
Yeah.
This thing ate my bit. Things in the ocean. It was such. So that block says 3. I need 2, right?
No, 4, 3, 2,
okay.
1. It says 4 on it. Why would you put
I
2?
didn't look at that number. I was counting my. The second one I put in, I thought was going to be 2. My bad.
So guys, as I mentioned, I'm putting gravel in the bottom of these holes, and I feel by doing that, that gives me a solid base down there. Plus, when it came time to putting the posts down in there, I could use my sledgehammer to pound them in so that they are almost flush with the top, and then I can take my pencil and scribe them at the top. Then when I cut my posts and slip them back down into the holes, they should be the perfect height, and I can just screw them in and then drop the concrete.
Man, look at that.
Gosh, man, it's so hot with that sun.
So I decided to put a post in the center stringer, and that way I had a post on the both ends and in the center, and the riser and the deck boards would pretty much support the other two. With the posts set, it was time to get this concrete party started. While Kelly was finishing up with the stringers, I went ahead and poured concrete and water in all 3 of the holes and get them ready for the treads and risers. Well, you guys, with that out of the way, we went and took a quick lunch. That gave the posts time to set up for just a little while. When I got back, I started cutting the risers and the treads. Now, I do have a set of sawhorses, but they're at my house. It's a good place for them, huh? That's okay. This is how we used to do it in the old days. Sometimes you have to adjust. Well, team, I can see the finish line. Last thing we need to do is put these risers and these treads on, and we are done. Well, team, unfortunately, I forgot to take after pictures, but just by looking at the video, I think you could see what we are trying to go for, and I believe we have accomplished our goal. If you enjoyed today's video, help us out by destroying the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, consider becoming part of the DIY family by subscribing to the channel. And if you have any questions, or you just want to say hi to me and Kelly, head on down to the comments and drop us a line. I think that's going to do it for this one, guys, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care and stay safe. Peace.